Okay, so basically, security. A home if you own and enough money in the bank to support you in the way you want, plus a bit in hand for emergencies and a big enough pension to ensure a comfortable retirement. Comfort, a warm and spacious house, a big cigar, someone to clean or mow the lawns, or do the laundry or mind the kids, and do good quality medical care whenever you want it. Luxuries, exotic vacations, fine wines, meals at top class restaurants, example, expensive clothes, the best seats at sports events or opera or whatever you enjoy. Mobility, first class train seats and plane tickets, trips on cruise ships, chauffeur driven cars whenever you are in the world. Status, prestigious invitations, access to important people and exclusive clubs, and perhaps even gratifying deference from others. Influence, as a generous donor of substantial sums, you can make sure that your views and wishes are listened to and taken seriously. Freedom, not being dependent on employer, bosses, creditors, clients, customers, not being a slave to the calendar, diary, or clock, knowing you won't have to be a burden on your children. Leisure, time to do things you want, go wherever you want, meet who you want, when you want. Popularity, being able to entertain friends, acquaintances, and contacts frequently and generously does wonders for your social life. Philanthropy, being able to make regular and substantial donations gives you the satisfaction of helping people, supporting organizations, and furthering causes you believe in. Seems a reasonable enough list for me, to me. And whether it's some or all those things that you'd like more of, you need to know how to go about generating greater wealth, which means you need to know what is that separates the wealthy from the not so wealthy. So, what you need to know is what principles and what behaviors the rich have that you don't. Some of them you'll realize that you know but don't do. None of this is actually rocket science. It's about understanding and then doing. I've studied a lot of wealthy people, and it's clear to me that there are some fundamental common principles followed by almost all. The bulk of the rules in this book fall into that category. Then there are also some principles which some rich people swear by, but not all. I've included some of those too for good measure, just in case you too are one of the people they do the trick for. Security, comfort, luxuries, mobility, status, influence, freedom, leisure, popularity, philanthropy. That's all some people think about. They may not be everything, they may not even guarantee a happy life, but they're pretty good basis to build happiness on. I've tried to set out in this book the most important rules that can help you achieve those 10 things. All of them purport to be about accumulating money, and of course, in a sense, they are. But on the heart, they're about money only as a means to an end, a means to achieve those 10 ends. Of course, I don't claim that these 100 or so rules are the only means to these particular ends. You may encounter others along the way that you find helpful. If so, please do feel free to share them. You can email them at Richard Templar. Thinking wealthy. That's part one. Money is a concept. You can't really see or touch it unless you are holding a gold bar in your hand. You can only do that with some physical symbol of it, like stock certificates or a check. Bits of paper, yes, but bits of paper with enormous power. The concept of money comes with a lot of baggage to most of us. We have an inherent belief that it is good or bad, and that wanting it is good or bad. That loving is it is good or bad. The spending it is good or bad. What am I going to suggest in the first few rules is that maybe, just maybe, how we think about wealth might be holding us back from having wealth. If in our heart we believe, even subconsciously, that money is a bad thing and having lots and lots of it is a really bad thing, that chances are we might be undermining our own efforts unwittingly to get lost of it. I am also going to get you to look at how much effort you are prepared to put into making money. It's a bit like a sport. The more you practice, the better you become. Likewise, you can make money while being lazy. You've got to put in some work here. You've also got to know pretty intimately what you want, why you want it, how you think you are going to get it, and why uh, you are going to do it with it after you got it. Stuff like that. No one said this was going to be easy. Rule number one: anybody can be wealthy. You just need to apply yourself. The lovely thing about money is that it really doesn't discriminate. It doesn't care what color or race you are. what class you are, what your parents did, or even who you are. Each and every day starts with a clean state so that no matter what you did yesterday, today it begins in you. And you have the same rights and opportunities as everyone else to take as much as you want. The only thing that can hold you back is yourself and your own money myths. Of the wealth of the world, each has as much as they take. What else could make sense? There is no way money can know who is handling it, what their qualifications are, what ambitions you have, or what class they belong to. Money has no ears or eyes or senses. It is inert, inanimate, impassive. It hasn't a clue. It is there to be used and spent, saved and invested, fought over, seduced with, and worked for. It has no discriminatory apparatus, so it can change whenever you are worthy. I have watched a lot of extremely wealthy people, and the one thing they all have in common is that they have nothing in common, apart from all being rules players, of course. The wealthy are a diverse band of people. The least likely can be loaded. They vary from the genteel to the uncouth, the savvy to the plain stupid, and deserving to the undeserving. But each and every one of them has stepped up and said, "Yes, please, I want some of that." And the poor are the ones saying, "No, thank you, that is not for me. I'm not worthy. I'm not deserving enough. I couldn't, I shouldn't." That's what this book is all about, challenging your perceptions of money and the wealthy. We all assume the poor are poor because of circumstances, their background, their upbringing, their nurture. But if you have the means to buy a book such as this and live in comparative security and comfort in the world, then you too have the power to be wealthy. It may be hard, it may be tough, but it is doable. And that is rule number one. Anyone can be wealthy. You have to apply yourself. All the other rules are about that application. Decide on your definition of wealth. So, what to you is wealth? This is one you have to sit down and work out in advance if you're going to get wealthy. My observation is that wealthy people invariably have worked this one out. They know exactly what to them wealth means. I have a wealthy and extremely generous friend who says that he knew long ago when he was starting out in business that he would consider he had made enough when he wasn't living off the money he had amassed, which we will call this capital. Nor would he be living off the interest of this capital. No, he would consider himself wealthy when he was living on the interest on his capital. Sounds good to me. Now, the friend knows how much his interest on the interest is making him, pretty much by the hour. Thus, if we all go out for a meal in the evening, he knows how much the meal has cost and B, how much he has made while eating the meal. He says that as long as is more than A, then he is happy. This is setting the definition of wealth pretty high, you might think. Maybe you wouldn't want to set it this high, and that's fine, of course. Then again, maybe you'd want to put some kind of figure on it. In the old days, everyone wanted to be a millionaire. That was an easy one to judge if you got there or not. Today, there are a lot of people who have houses worth more than that, and they wouldn't consider themselves wealthy at all, and yet haven't quite gotten around to upping the ante to wishing themselves billionaires. Sorry, but to me, a billion is a million million. I won't be persuaded otherwise. My own definition for comparison is having enough so that I don't have to worry about having enough. How much is that? I never know. There always seems to be more to worry about and less coming in. But seriously, I feel that I have been comfortable since I started counting in thousands rather than dollars. I know to the nearest thousand how much I've got, how much I need, and how much I can spend. For some people, not worrying might mean having enough to pay for any emergency that might arise in your family or home. So, how will you define it? By the number of cars you own, servants, cash in the bank, value of your house, portfolio of investment? There are, of course, no right or wrong answers, but I do feel that until you've worked this one out, you shouldn't read on. If we haven't a target, we can't take aim. If we don't have a definition, if you don't have a destination, how can we monitor or judge success? If we don't do this, how will you know if this book has been helpful to you? If we don't have a definition, how can we monitor or judge success? If we don't do this, how will you know if this book has been helpful to you? Rule number three: your objectives. By defining what you mean by wealth, you now have destination. Setting your objective is establishing a timetable to reach that destination. It's quite simple. If you know you're going to drive a certain place, it makes sense to know. what time you are leaving home, what time you expect to arrive, what route you are going to take, what you will be doing when you get there. Getting rich is exactly the same. You'll want to know in advance what rich means to you, how you intend getting there, how long you expect it to take, and what you are going to be able to do or want to do with your money when you get it. So, having defined that what wealth means to you, you can now see the importance of setting your objective. Think about how you intend getting rich and how long is it going to take you, and then set your objective. It might be simple. I'm going to be a millionaire by my 40th birthday, and I shall make money by running my own property development company. That was easy. Well, it was for me because I'm only making up an example for you. For you, I wager it's going to be pretty hard. This is because you won't have thought about this before, or I dare say you might have a casual dream. I want to be very, very rich and or famous and or successful. But few people, only the rich, famous, and successful ones, in my observation, actually decide what and when and how. You have to if you want to be if you too want to be healthy. And I assume you do, or you wouldn't be reading this far. Good for you. Now set your objective. I can wait. Back already? How did it go? Your objective has to be realistic, honest, and achievable. By realistic, I mean the setting an objective of being the richest person in the world might happen, but it isn't going to. It isn't realistic. Honest means you have to be true to yourself and set an objective that you can live and work with. Lying to yourself means it will fail. Lying to others means it will fail. Achievable? Yes, that too. If you know nothing about property and aren't interested in learning, have no capital and can't get a mortgage, then setting an objective to be a property developer isn't realistic, honest, or achievable. Happy with what you've got? Good. If not, try again and let's get a move on. We want to get you up and running as soon as possible. All right, that's the end of the live session on YouTube. I guess this is the end, and I should close this live, but I will be back again to read some of the pages from the book Money. What is the rules of money, basically. So, catch you later.